Authorities in Pakistan have carried out a study to assess the public mood and opinion on the Chinese atrocities against the minority Uighur Muslims in the western province of Xinjiang. In a monthly issue of a religious journal published in Lahore, it was noted that the ill treatment of Uighurs in Xinjiang has specifically impacted religious opinion of Pakistan. The study shows that religious magazines and journals are seething with anger as their opinion pieces are comparing China's state policies in Xinjiang to severe anti-Muslim policies adopted by Israel in Palestine. Some religious journals in Pakistan have also condemned China's anti-democratic restrictions which undermine Muslim symbols like stopping people from growing their beard. In the westernmost Chinese province of Xinjiang, there are three particular concerns with regard to Uighur minorities. Scholars commissioned by the government of Pakistan have also identified these issues and have asked Imran Khan administration to intervene and mediate with China. The first account details how Uighur minorities are confined to their homes, which is under constant surveillance, invariably making it a detention center. The second details how most Uighurs are forced into slavery in Chinese factories, and finally how China presumes every living Uighur to be a terrorist working against Beijing. Now, Uighurs in Xinjiang province are living in a dystopian society where constant surveillance, arrests and extreme torture are a norm. The Chinese military in Xinjiang is said to have abused minority Muslims and has also been accused of carrying out forced sterilizations, outraging the modesty of Uighur women. The government of Pakistan carried out the assessment to get a first-hand view of the Uighur issue and hopes to control any overt activity that would embarrass either Islamabad or Beijing. Like Erdogan's Turkey, Pakistan too is complying with China's hegemonic policies. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has always remained silent over the issue. When questioned, he has refused to criticize China for its atrocities. The present government in Islamabad and the governments preceding it have always ignored the Uighur crisis as they have become China's client state due to Beijing's large-scale investments in the country. Earlier, when questioned about the Uighur issue, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan feigned ignorance and called China Pakistan's best friend. He also said that Pakistan would speak to China privately but would not make any comments in the public on matters like these. However, international powers such as the US, Australia and UK have always condemned China for its use of force against the Uighur community. Earlier, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo also called China's treatment of Uighurs the strain of the century. And a group of 22 EU nations also wrote to the President of UN Human Rights Council and UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, calling on China to end its mass detention program against the Uighur Muslims.
With the Chinese, we have a special relationship, and it's the way China functions. Any of issues like these, we talk to them privately. We don't make public statements.
Mainstream media in Pakistan has been vocal about its opinions on Kashmir and Rohingyas, but has been largely silent on the Uighur issue. Meanwhile, scholars and activists in Islamabad have asked the Imran Khan government to raise the matter through diplomatic channels to help the oppressed Muslim community and the Muslim minority group in China.
Then there's China, which is in a league of its own when it comes to human rights violations. In just 2018, China intensified its campaign of detaining Muslim minority groups at record levels. Today, more than 1 million Uyghurs, ethnic Kazakhs, and other Muslims are interned in re-education camps designed to erase their religious and ethnic identities.
Right, we are getting a news report by WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Take a look.
The atrocities against the Uighur Muslims in the westernmost province of China is now being discussed across the world. And how can it be that Pakistani society not discussing that? And that was the focus of the assessment done by Pakistani authorities. And to their surprise, they found out it was the religious journals, the conservative section of the Pakistani society discussing it most. This can be a cause of discomfort for both Islamabad and Beijing, and this assessment was precisely to control that narrative. And of course, the key findings was the fact that these religious journals focused on the situation inside the Chinese province, how it has become a police state, and also when it comes to practicing Islam, there is a difficulty being faced by people in that part of China, and they, while being cautious, have been urging the Pakistani government that that matter should be raised